Alle mie spalle si vede la chiesa di Tabga.
Behind me, you can see the church of Tabga. Behind this little church, the Benedictines also have a church, in memorial of an event that we can find in all the four Gospels, the multiplication of the loaves and fishes. Before Matthew tells this story, he recounts a particular event that happened. John the Baptist was martyred, killed. When Jesus found out about this fact, we are told that he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The people asked where he had gone, and probably followed Jesus along the shore, but at a certain point the Lord became aware of their presence. We can read this directly from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 14, verses 13 and 14. When Jesus heard of it, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds heard of this and followed him on foot from their towns. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, and he cured their sick. Jesus wanted to be alone, in order to live and deal with that moment, and in a certain way, he knew it was close to him, and also prophetic for him what had happened to John the Baptist. But the crowds followed him. The crowds needed him. Here in this place, 5,000 people were fed by Jesus. But before he did this, the Gospel tells us that he saw the crowd. Jesus looked from the boat and saw the crowd. He did not only see a blot on the landscape, but he saw the hearts and needs of each one. And Matthew tells us that especially he saw the sick, those who suffered physically, who needed healing, consolation, those who needed to be comforted. We read that he saw. So the first verb is to see. Jesus, seeing, entered into the hearts and the reality of each person. And arouse in him feelings of compassion. The Greek word for compassion is splagnizomai. The splagno are the guts, bowels, the internal organs. This is the root of the word. Jesus is moved in his most intimate and internal being, in a deep way. The same word can be found in chapter 15 of Luke's Gospel, in the parable well called the Merciful Father.
La stessa parola la troviamo al capitolo 15 di Luca nella parabola ben detta del Padre misericordioso.
Jesus has and experiences emotions that are typical of a mother, faced with the needy and sick, and those who suffer in their body. The Gospel tells us that Jesus, moved by compassion, was driven out from his place of desert, surely by the Father, so that he could be with the people and meet the people and heal the people. This is important for us also, for all of us, and in a special way for those who suffer physically and with diseases, which are part of life. The Gospel does not hide and does not cancel or ignore suffering. On the contrary, many chapters in the Gospels and Jesus himself speak about suffering. But we have the solution. Jesus himself takes care of those who are suffering, of sicknesses. Of those who also suffer because of the suffering of others, for children, for the terminally ill, for those diseases that medicine cannot heal. But we have the Lord, who in his mercy can and wants to lay his hands on the sick person and the person who suffers. We too, let's bring the sick to Jesus and help them to come to faith in the one who is merciful, who not only gives us bread and nourishes us and takes care of us, but who also takes care of the suffering, comforts the suffering. And why not? Often he himself intervenes and heals. So let's pray for the sick and with the sick. Let's not become resigned, but rather say, Lord, I come to you, I offer you my sickness and suffering. You who had compassion and who were moved by compassion on seeing the crowd at Tabga, have mercy on me. Look with kindness, mercy and compassion upon me. Stretch out your hand and heal me, Lord. The Lord always listens to our prayer. He does not always answer as we ask, but He always gives us something, consolation, or the strength to carry our burden with joy and trust. Let's pray with and for the sick, so that the Lord will heal them and comfort them. Until the next time from the Sea of Galilee.